and welcome to my channel. I am Coach KeshaAustin, and I am going to share tips with you on how I raised my credit score from a 400 to now being able to own my own 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 4-car garage, huge, beautiful first home, pool in the back. Yeah, how I was able to achieve that. Stay tuned. Alright, so if you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications because I am about to start ramping up my postings and you do not want to miss what's to come. So the most recent video that I uploaded was about how to bounce back after falling off. And after I uploaded that video, several people reached out to me and asked me, well, you didn't you didn't tell us, oh, we really wanted to know. How were you able to bounce back from a 400 credit score in order to live in the beautiful home that you now own? So, it's only right, y'all know I'm going to share. So, how did I raise my credit score from a 400, I think it was like a 430 or 450 or something like that, to be able to buy a home? So, the number one thing that I would definitely suggest you do is ask yourself if you are ready. And what I mean by if you are ready to get beyond where you are with your current credit situation. And having, if you're like me, if you had, this is my situation. When I had bad credit, I was working at a job that barely paid my bills. And I had accumulated bills that were right at the top. So my bills and my income were neck and neck. And I got tired of living like that. So, and I also was unhappy on my job. So I made up in my mind that I wanted more and I would do what was necessary to get there. With that also comes with sort of being alone on an island, if you will. If you're the only person that you know that is willing to make the sacrifices of not going out, you know, not taking advantage of every Bath and Body Works sale, every Victoria's Secret sale, you know, not going out to celebrate everything with everybody, not going to the gender reveal and then the baby shower and then showing up at the hospital with balloons and candies and stuff. Making that sacrifice to let your friends know that it will be a no. You know, I'm not going to do that because I'm on a road to rehabilitation as it relates to my finances and my credit score. So make sure you are ready. The second thing, after I determined that there was something that I was willing to do, I then determined that there were some changes that I was going to have to make, and they were pretty drastic, and I could not be afraid to do it. So number two is make sure that you are not afraid to make that leap, whatever that looks like for you. For me, I was working at a job that paid me $43,000 a year, and the goals that I had for myself they exceeded that income. That was bigger. It was a lot more than just $43,000 a year. Now that may be different for you. For me, that was the case. So I started to look for other ways of increasing my income. And with that, I started looking for different jobs. And when I say don't be afraid, I remember specifically doing a phone interview with a gentleman who said to me, you know, we don't want to waste each other's time. You know, this particular job pays $70,000. Is that something that you're comfortable with this role? And I'm like, absolutely, but not wanting to sound desperate. But I had never made that much money before. I shared this information with someone at the time who was close to me, and she kind of looked at me and rolled her eyes like, child, you ain't getting no job to pick like that. You ain't finna. And if I would have taken heed to that and I would have let that become my mindset, that would have made me fearful, you know, of moving forward and taking on, you know, taking on a position that paid me that much, or willing to step into something that looked different from where I currently was. Case in point, before me and my husband got together, I used to always say my rent cannot be more than $600. My first apartment, my rent was, I think it was I moved in on a rent special. So my rent was $547 or it was $564. $564 my rent was. And I think when they renewed my lease, it went up to like $580, right? And I always said $650 is too close to $1,000, and that's what most apartments were renting for in the area in which I live. So I ended up moving from that apartment, and I moved to an apartment that the rent was $630, and I was like, this is a lot. Because again, I did not want to take on that financial burden. I was afraid. Also, I never pictured myself as someone who would ever own a home, because I felt like that was too much of a burden for me to have to fix something. I would say make sure that, one, again, you're ready, but also that fear is not in the midst of you being ready and having a solid plan. If you're fearful about anything, we're going to talk about that in the next couple steps, but yeah, that definitely needs to be addressed, because you cannot make sound decisions while your mind is working against one another. When one side of your mind is like, yes, let's do it, let's go for it, the other side of your mind is like, no, you know you failed before, and you know so-and-so said that their car got repossessed, or you know they lost their house, or something. No, that you cannot be conflicting. You've got to make sound decisions with a sound mind, so that you are progressing and you're not moving forward and taking 10 steps back. And the biggest thing about this, if you're not ready for the no's and the uncertainty and the things that you are not educated in, if you're not ready to take that on, starting this process and not continuing and following and seeing it through, you're going to do more harm to yourself, your credit, your reputation, and your peace. You're going to do a lot more harm than good. So, and number 3, get help. Man, I cannot tell you, I didn't do this on my own. So one of the biggest things, I did have someone reach out to me, and I was so glad that she reached out to me. And I told her what company did I use to help me to repair my credit. And that company is Blue Sky Credit Repair. Let me tell you how good this company is. This company is so good. I think I pay like $60 a month. You enroll in a program as long as you want to be enrolled in the program. So if you like, oh, I just want to get my score up to this amount, or I just wanted to get this item off, you can cancel. Another great incentive about this company is they have people that are available for you, to answer those questions about your specific situation. Awesome. Also, I joined numerous Facebook groups that had, I always say this, I always tell my clients this, it takes a village. And I don't think it just takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to accomplish and move mountains and reach your goals. There are so many people who are at a similar place where you are, who need what you have and you need what they have. So I joined the group Dreamcatchers. I don't remember the other part of it. But anyway, I'll post that information also. The Dreamcatchers group was incredible. I learned so much about credit in that group. And I joined several other groups also. I just went to Facebook, typed in the search bar, repairing credit, and they have like people, accounts, or whatever. And I selected groups. And I also went through the list and took without the filters and added some people who also would drop little bombs about credit, so that I was constantly seeing that every single time I was on social media. Because if this is what I'm trying to do, I don't need to be hearing about Pookie and Poom Poom every time I log on. I need to know about FICO, Experian, seeing what's going on, and then I had another data breach or whatever. That's what I need to see. So I was consumed by it. I was obsessed with it. And yeah, so I definitely got help. Also in that get help tip, remember how I said I was making about $43,000 a year? That salary couldn't help me. I don't know about you, I don't know about some, they just could not help me. I needed to make more money. So I started putting myself out there to make more money. And I got a job that paid me 3 times as much as I was making at that $43,000 a year place. And guess what I did? I paid down my debt. Now, Blue Sky, there were some things that they could and could not, or, you know, if I could take care of it and get it removed, of course I did. It was some items that I did pay off. And this goes into my next step, which is pray about it. Let me tell you why this is so important. One, I prayed about it when I was ready to take the steps necessary to make things sort of start to fall in place. I prayed about it when I was afraid, because I knew that what I was feeling, 9 times out of 10, nobody else. I wasn't willing to have that conversation with anybody else. So I decided to go about it on my own, in that afraid space, based on my unproductive, or my limiting beliefs, the beliefs that I had in my mind and my spirit and my heart that were contradictory of what I wanted for myself. I prayed about that. And when it came to getting help, I asked God to help me to discern what was the meat and what was the bones. So I would take it in, following certain people's posts. People are going to post crazy stuff, and some of it is just not going to apply to you. It could be their specific situation, and it just won't apply to you. So prayer is out of this world, the number one thing. That's why I wanted to end on that note, making it number one, but also number 4. There were some items I remember. I will never forget this. I remember sitting in the car to talk on the phone with the ambulance people right before I started really working on my credit. I was in a really bad accident. For some reason, the insurance company did not include someone's ambulance bill. I think it was mine, either my son's, I don't know. It was a very hefty bill. That bill was big. And it was not something that I particularly wanted to take care of. And what ended up happening was the lady threw the bill away. I said, huh? She wrote the balance off. Somewhere, somehow, prayer, Jesus, thank you. Somebody dropped the ball, something didn't work out, and I received favor in that area and did not have to dispute or worry about that bill anymore. This is why it's so important that you pray. Also, with the get help and pray, at the same time, when I tell you my realtor, I met my realtor before I was ready to buy a house. And I thought that I was just going to come here and buy a house, but when I got the details, the first person I spoke to, she told me that I wasn't ready. Based on everything she told me I needed to have and where I needed to be, I wasn't ready. I later came in contact with a guy that was in my office who grew up with a guy who was a realtor, and he was awesome. Not only did he help me find my rental property, but he also helped me to find my now home. And all of those things that first lady said I needed to have, that did not apply to me. And I was able to, we didn't go back and forth. We did not, this wasn't my 5th choice, my 8th choice. This was me and my husband's first choice, and we got it. So when I say pray about it, and make sure that you're reaching out and being willing to be coachable and willing to receive information and unlearn some things that you thought you knew. And I can guarantee you that you will also get to the place where not only you'll have a credit score that you'll be proud of, but also a home, whether you want to rent it out, sell it again, flip it, whatever. You will be able to do that. And I wish you the best of blessings. Take care.